it was an awesome game.
Yeah, I watched every bit.
If Derrick Rose and Brandon Jennings play the way that they played last night, the Knicks are going to be just fine because they are making their teammates better.
Yep.
They are making passes. They are creating shots. They are creating space. And, of course, Porzingis, you look at him, okay, 31 points. We all know what he can do. But he can't do what he's doing if he doesn't have the space to do it or the guy's throwing him the passes so he can do it. Now, he had a couple big threes last night, but I'm not as impressed with those particular plays because you expect him to do that as I am with him receiving really great passes from both Jennings and Rose. And I thought the passing was good last night. And then when you take a look at the bench, I know you were making fun of plus minus yesterday and all that other stuff. The fact of the matter is when the bench is on the court, they're getting exactly what they need. At least they did last night.
They're getting energy.
And it's energy, and every single one of those players were plus points last night. And I have to tell you, it was almost like it was back about 4 years ago. You know, you could start feeling like, okay, we're starting to see something. We're starting to see some passion. Now, the defense was, okay, it wasn't great, but
the second half was better, though.
But Jennings and Rose, when they played the way they played last night, and the good thing for all the questions about Derrick Rose and what is he going to be and all that stuff. He had his ups last night.
Yep.
He had a couple unbelievable under the basket hoops around the corner, and I'm telling you that was vintage Derrick Rose. Now they're going to say he's different than he was 4 years ago. Of course he is.
His knee's better.
But I have to tell you, he looked like he was the Energizer Bunny last night.
You know, you have with him too, and you haven't really had it. To be fair, you haven't had it. Since J.R. Smith had his Sixth Man of the Year, I mean, two legitimate scorers, where Carmelo Anthony last night was scoreless in the fourth quarter, and he contributed he had a big rebound tap out to give him the extra possession, which Rose puts him up 4 to win the game. He was hustling. He was all the little things you're supposed to do. But you have two, when they're on, you have two legitimate scorers in Porzingis and Derrick Rose. And listen, I don't get carried away because I think this team is still somewhat dysfunctional. But 7-7, considering the way they started and all the crap about defensive coordinator and we don't do pick and rolls and Phil Jackson's here and there, 7-7 and 5 straight at home, you can certainly build off that and feel good that you have a team that's capable of being a postseason team.
And the biggest problem this team's had in the last couple of years is their lack of presence at point guard. And now they have two guys that are playing the position and putting pressure on the opposing team. So there was a lot to like last night. There's been a lot to like, in the last 4 or 5 years.
Jennings had 11 assists last night.
But now you take a look at their next, I think it's 4 games here in the month of November. They have a back-to-back with Charlotte. Again, like when we said they went down to Washington, they can't lose games to Washington when Washington's in a free fall
and embarrace themselves.
Right. So they're
still
like
117 points or something.
That, but you'll take one every like 4 or 5 games. I'll take that in the NBA. But now you have Charlotte. I think you got Minnesota on this little docket as well.
Well, Friday, Saturday, Charlotte, and then you have Oklahoma City, which is a one-man team right now. They're only a game over 500, and then you have a home and home. Believe it or not, it's a strange home and home with Minnesota.